Okay, wow. One of those days where you think you have everything planned out to. And no, I didn't. I did not have everything planned out, but that's okay. Improvise, adapt, overcome, right? We're in the command line. Everything's going to be great now. It's groovy here. It's really awesome. Okay, what are we doing today? This is for new users, Linux, BSD, yep, MacBook users, Apple users. If you're intermediate or an expert user, this is probably going to be all old hat to you. We're going to cover really basic operations in the command line. Creating files, creating directories, deleting files and directories, and moving things around. That's it. So let's jump into it. So we're going to cover ls and print working directory and change directory and move and remove and make directory and touch. And we have notes, so we're just going to look at those real quick. Oh, and copy. That's it. That's what we're going to look at. All of these small applications have man pages. So let's look at ls real quick. And ls is list directory contents, which is super handy, right? You're used to working with file managers if you're from Windows or Apple land, and everything is graphically represented to you. So sometimes the command line is hard and it's inaccessible because you can't see. This is going to help you. These are your eyes. So there's a bunch of options for ls. Honestly, though, I don't use many. I use A and I use L, list along format, and A, list everything. Let's look at it. ls, and there's nothing here, right? Because I'm in a directory that I created for this tutorial, and I haven't made anything here. So there's nothing here. But if I type in AL, I get this. So now you can see who owns the directory, when it was created, all of this extra information. But this is not data. This is not a file. These are not directories. So let's clear it out. I guess we're going to cover clear too. Clear. See, I told you, I don't have anything worked out today. I thought I did, but of mice and men. Clear the terminal screen. There it is. Very simple, very basic, and super handy. I use clear probably more than anything else. And let's make something. Touch. So man, touch. Okay, it's going to say touch. Change the file timestamps. For our purposes, what it's going to mean is it's going to create a file for us. It's not going to put anything in that file, but it is going to create a file. So new file.txt. Okay? And if we look inside that file with this command, cat, so I lied. I guess we're looking at cat and clear, concatenate files and print on the standard output. And this is a great little application, cat new. And command completion. That's how that happened. You saw this just popped up there. I didn't type it out completely. I typed the first couple of letters and then I hit tab and it finished for me. And so that makes life on the command line a lot faster and a lot smoother. And another tip is to hit your up arrow, right? You hit the up arrow and the last command completed will miraculously appear and you can execute it. Just like that. And that's awesome. So let's look at what's inside cat, or let's look at what's inside our new file. Nothing is inside our new file. So if we open up this file, this text file with our favorite text editor, you can use Vi or Vim or Nano. It doesn't matter, whatever is your favorite. And these Linux and BSD and Apple machines should all have some form of a text editor, whether it's Vi or Vim or Nano. So explore those and decide which you like. There we go. See, there's nothing here. So this is a test. Let's just type that in there. Nope. Things are case sensitive. We'll clear it out, and then we can use the cat command and look at it. And now we can see oh, there is in fact something inside our text file. And now we can use our ls command to see what's in our directory. There's a file called new file that we used touch to create. That's awesome. But there's no directories. So let's make a directory. And we make a directory with this command, right? So if we open up the man page, it makes directories. And there are 4 options here that I have never used. And that's okay. Lots of little commands, lots of these programs and applications have options that you'll never use. But feel free to explore them and read the man pages. It really does make a world of difference. So make directory. Let's make a simple directory A1. Let's make another one A2. And now let's look at the contents. There we go. And notice that A1 and A2 are highlighted differently. That indicates that they're directories. And if directory is tripping you up, if that's just jargon to you, you're used to hearing it referred to as a folder if you're from Windows lands or Apple land. And that's okay. Directory and folder, they're exactly the same thing. No worries. There we go. How cool is that? So let's clear our screen again. Look at that. Look how fast we can type that. That's awesome. Clear, man, that command, that probably is the command that taught me how to type, honestly. Okay, next, change directory. Now that we have directories, we want to move back and forth between them, right? We want to explore what's in our file system. So cd is change the working directory right there, and there are a couple of different options here. And again, I've never used any of these options, but feel free to explore. Read the man page. You will learn loads. And remember, at the bottom of man pages, you get to see a little bit of the history of your operating system and how things got started. Sometimes you get to see who created the command, and that's all part of the path, right? That's all part of the journey. That's really cool. You get to connect with all these people that you'll never meet, but you work with the tools that they've created for you, and that's wonderful. So we're getting a little lost, so let's look inside our directory. Okay, we've got A1, A2, and a file. Let's change directory into A1, and let's look inside A1, and there's nothing here, so let's use touch to make a new file, and let's call it a new, no, that's going to be confusing, right? Let's call it Bob. Bob is a file, why not? Now if we look inside the directory, we can see Bob is a file, right? And now if we make a directory, but we have to spell it correctly, B1, and we look, we can see Bob is a file and B is a directory. We're going to go ahead and clear that out and list it again just so that we can see where we're at and not get too confused because we're moving fast. That's okay. We're going to move bob.txt into the B directory, and we're going to do that with the move command. We'll look at the man page real quick. Move or rename files. And this is also how you rename files. So if you're in a file manager on Windows or in Apple land, you open up your file manager and you right click on a file or a folder. You can then rename it. Well, you can't click on anything in the command line, but you can use the move command to rename files. There isn't a rename command, there's only a move command. Okay, so let's list this out again, and we'll move Bob command completion to B1, right? And we'll look and see what's in our directory, and the only thing that's in our directory now is the other directory, B1. Bob the file is now in B1. And we can see if Bob the file is in B1 by pointing the list command at B1. There we go. We didn't even have to descend into the B1 directory to see what's in it. We can just point ls at directories to see what's in them. And that's super handy. That's super convenient. So you're getting an idea that you can, once you get this all under your fingertips and you get used to working this way, you can move very fast. And that's super fun and super gratifying. All right, so let's descend down into B1 just to prove that, yep, there it is, right? There it is. But you know what? We don't want to hang out here forever. So we're going to move up, and that's what our dots are for. So change directory, remember? Change directory, space, dot, dot. That just moved us up one level back to where we were. And we can verify that with this command, print working directory. Remember? So print the name of the current working directory right here. Print the name of the current working directory. All right. And here's the full path. That's what it's called, the full path of where we are at. And we can see that's where we're at. Here's where we're at, and this is what's in the directory. This is what's around us, if that's how you want to think about it. So we can clear that out, look at everything again, and let's get rid of B1 because we don't need B1 anymore, right? And we're going to use RM for that. So the man page, RM, remove files or directories. Okay, great. And there's a bunch of options here. Handful. Again, I don't use many of these, but I do use R, which is remove directories and their contents, recursively. And if recursively or recursive is jargon to you, it just means everything that's inside that directory is also going to be deleted, which is great that you have to specify that. You have to be very specific because once you delete it with RM, it's gone. It's not going to be like from a file manager where there's a trash folder that you can go and recover it from if you've made a mistake. That's probably important to understand. If you RM a file or directory in Linux or on your Unix machine, that's it. It's gone. You're never going to get it back. So let's try it. Let's see where we're at. And RM B. And we can't. That's because we need to specify the switch, the option, which is R in this case. So R for recursive, B1, and nothing happened except for something did happen. The only thing that didn't happen was we didn't get updated, nothing returned, and that usually means that it executed the way we wanted it to. So if we look inside the directory now, we can see there's nothing there. It's gone, and we can't get it back. There's no undo. There's no Control Z. So be careful with RM. Just be careful. Move slowly. All right. So what happened? We just moved up one directory with this command, and then we listed the directory contents with this command. That's all that happened, right? Okay. So copy. What if new file text is a configuration file and we want to make a backup of that configuration file so we can start hacking on the one that we are currently using? Well, we want to make a copy of it, a duplicate, and we can make a duplicate of it, a copy, using the CP, the copy command. And copy is different than move. It makes duplicates, and we can copy files and directories. So this is primarily the option that I use when I use the copy command. Again, explore the rest of these because they're all very useful, but on a daily basis, CP switch R is what I normally use. Just an FYI. So copy R, new file. I hit tab for command completion, and now I want to name it something simple and indicative of where it came from because we're pretending it's a config file, right? So I'm just gonna name it BKP, which is backup. Hit return and look at the contents of the directory, and looky there. We have what we started with, our new file.txt and a new file.txt.backup. Beautiful. That's wonderful. And what if, though, new file.txt.backup, what if we want to just rename it entirely? Remember, we can use the move command to rename things. So new file, command completion, and see, it's going to stop right here and wonder, do you want this or do you just want to stay with this? And so you have to type the next character, hit tab again, and it'll command complete for you. All right. And now that we have the file we want to rename, there we go, we want to give it a new name. So let's give it a new name, and we'll call it sugar. How about sugar? There we go. And now we have changed the name of new file.txt.backup to sugar. There you go. So that's how renaming works. Exactly like right-clicking on a file or a folder in a file manager in Windows or Apple or in a macOS and renaming it. That's it. Super easy. What's left? We've covered ls and we've covered, let's clear this out. We can be cleaner. ls, and we've covered print working directory and make directory and copy and move and rm and touch, and we bonused with cat, and we talked a little bit about text editors, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Oh, and we covered clear. These are the things that we talked about today. These you're going to use these all day long. That's essentially the command line equivalent of pointing your mouse and right-clicking on things. This is your bread and butter inside the command line. ls, print working directory, make directory, copy, move, rm, touch, cat, and clear. They all have man pages. Go ahead and read them over and over again. If none of this made any sense, that's okay. Read your man pages, take it slow, and build. Just build, right? And just think about it, about what and how you want to do it. You just want to make a directory called new, and then change directory into new, and then touch a file, new file, .text, and then edit that file, put something interesting in, and then look at the contents of that file. All right, check what else is in this directory. Nothing. Check the name of the directory you're at. Okay, there's nothing here. You know what? You don't need that file, so let's just rm that file. Check and see if that happened. It did happen. Oops, that was super handy. Let's make another one. Let's look inside it, but we're not going to be able to because there's nothing there. So let's put something there. And you can just do this until things make sense. Sometimes my escape key sticks. There we go. And now we can look inside that file. All right, there we go. We can see that file. And we can clear our screen out because it's getting confusing and messy. And we can look and see we have a new file, and we can make a directory in here because we want to practice moving that file around. And we'll just call it v1, and we'll copy new file into v1. There we go, and we'll list that, and we can see that new file stayed where it's at, but we can point list at that directory and see that it's in fact there. And for bonus points, check this out. Here we go. We're getting a little more complicated. We're building on our skills, and now we can see the contents of the file, new file, which is in the directory, but we are are not in the B directory, we're still in the new directory. And that's how you build your skills. You just make these little exercises for yourself and move around. Doesn't matter what you call things, just practice, just practice. And so we can change into that directory. We can see where we're at. We're in the B1. We can list its contents. Okay, let's change the name of new file to something different. Literally something different. There we go. Let's list that, clear that out. List it again because, oops, I forgot. Something different. Let's look at the contents of something different. Oh, it's a test file. Wonderful. Let's move up one step. Let's list the contents. Okay, let's just get rid of B1. RMR. Let's list the contents again. There we go. It's gone. Let's clear it. And let's call it there. I hope you learned something. I hope you're not too overwhelmed. And if this was all super simple and basic, hey, wonderful. If not, if you're just getting started and your head is swimming, take it slow, read your man pages, and play. That's the best way to get it. It's okay. It'll come. It'll come. All right. I hope you had fun. Hope you learned something, and we'll talk to you later.